All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, everybody, welcome on into NorCal Sports Network. You just watched a pitching masterpiece by Yoshi Yamamoto. I never can get his first name right, but Yamamoto. We'll just call him Yami. YY does incredible complete game as the Dodgers defeat handily the Milwaukee Brewers 5-1, and it wasn't that close. Could have been a lot worse. Dodgers look invincible right now, and hey, we'll talk about it right after we thank our sponsor. Dodgers take on the Brewers and defeat them 5-1. But first, let us thank our sponsor of the show, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Make sure you give Chapman Law Group a call for all your legal needs. Chapman Law Group, 415-613-9483. Let them know NorCal Sports Network sent you. All right, everybody. It was not much of a game. Started off good for Milwaukee in the bottom of the first pitch that Yamamoto throws. A home run to right center field by Jackson Chourio. And you think, hey, maybe this is the Brewers' night. They start to get it going, and no, that was it. And the Brewers look completely defeated. They are going up against Goliath. This is, you know what? I'm going to do some comparisons tonight, guys. I'm going to be talking about this Dodger team, and I'm going to compare it to the 2012 San Francisco Giants, who swept through the Detroit Tigers with relative ease with great pitching. The only difference between the Dodgers and the Giants is the Giants did it in a way that was commendable. They actually drafted and developed these guys. The Dodgers, it's all free agencies, all of them. Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Ohtani, Glasnow is a trade. This is, I don't think that you can compare the two when you look at the pitching staffs of Lincecum, Kane, Mad Bum, Vogelsong. So am I saying that there's a difference? No, a championship's a championship. But the Dodgers have to go out and buy championships because they choked too many times from 2013 through 2023. They were in the playoffs every year and never got a legitimate World Series. And I think they got tired of it and they said, the hell with it. We're just going to go out and buy it. So you know what? If more owners would like that, maybe you'd have more competition. I don't fault the Dodgers for doing that because that's within the rules of the game. And if other teams are too weak and not willing to do it, then maybe you shouldn't own the baseball team. So, I'm calling out Giants owners. If Giants owners want to compete, then go spend the money because it's very obvious that that's the way to win a championship is go get the best pitchers. Blake Snell is probably the best pitcher in the game when he is right because I'd take him over Tariq Skubal even and Paul Skeens. Blake Snell, all he does is just coast in the first half because he's not look, the whole Dodgers team pretty much coasted this year Why? Because they knew they were getting in the playoffs and they're playing for October. And you can't fault them for that. All right? You can't fault them for actually going out and playing to win a championship. They're playing the long game. And yeah, I definitely put an asterisk over 2020. 24 was legit. 25 will be legit. You know, I think the Mariners might have something to say about it because the Mariners are the one team that can pitch with the Dodgers. Maybe not as good as the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers have a better staff, but the Mariners have a good quality starting staff, and they've got some bullpen help, and they've got some hitters. You know, you got Raleigh and J-Rod, and you've got Polanco, and you got Naylor and Suarez. So I don't think you can just sit here and count Seattle out. Now, Seattle and the Dodgers have overwhelming advantages right now. You've got 2-0. Both teams are up 2-0. They win 2 games on the road. They come home. They've got each of them 3 games. They each just need to win 2 out of 3. So, you know, hey, look, I see people in the chat saying only because, look, if the Giants won or anybody else won, 2020 was a joke. Come on. You got to admit, it was not a full season. It was a 60-game season. There was no fans in the regular season, cardboard boxes, cutouts for fans. The playoffs World Series are played in neutral sites in Texas. You know, look, that's whatever. Yes, Major League Baseball counts it. It counts, but, you know, not a full season. You got to play a lot more than 60 games. Yeah, NorCal fan says the Dodgers keep spending. They're going to lose draft picks and decimate player development. Is LA going to be able to do enough on both fronts? We'll see. Hey, look, it's Mariners, like Babe Ruth says, I think the Mariners can beat LA. I really do. I really do. This might be Cal Raleigh's special year in the Mariners. We'll see. We still got 2 more to get. Hey, unlikely that Milwaukee does anything because who are they going to face in game 3? Is it Ohtani on Thursday night? Is it Ohtani? And then Friday's Glasnow, and then back to Snell? Yamamoto, game 6, and then Ohtani if there's a game 7. Doesn't look like there'll be a game 7. But we'll see. Don't say that to Dodger fans, Dan. I don't want you to have to start handing out pacifiers to Dodger fans. Absolutely. You know, we Dodger fans need those pacifiers. Oh, yeah. We'll see. We'll see where it goes, guys. But we'll see where this whole thing goes. But, you know, I think the Dodgers are very, very talented. You can't take anything away from what they're doing on the field. They are a juggernaut, right? I mean, look, if you're a Dodger fan, you love what the Dodgers are doing. You love what the ownership is doing. The ownership is more into winning than the actual fans want to win. We've had Ned Coletti on the show tell us that very same thing. So you can't, you know, you can't sit here and, you know, say that they're a bad team. All as I did, guys, is compare the Giants championships to the Dodgers and say that I think the way the Giants did it was more satisfying. If you're just a true, purebred fan of the game, but that doesn't take anything away from the Dodgers title if they win it again. They're the superior team. I mean, look at their offense. They can send out, Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Teoscar, Muncy. Then you got playoff Enrique Hernandez, right? I mean, he's like a machine in the playoffs. He comes alive. And, the Brewers, they may not put up a fight in this whole series. I don't know if the Brewers score more than a run. They've scored one run in each of the first two games. I don't know if the Brewers can actually score another run. It's questionable if they can get more than a run in a game because they are they're facing, great pitching. Great pitching generally beats great hitting, right? So that's just kind of my take on it. My take is that it's the Dodgers just look like they're going to be very hard to beat if you can't hit the ball, and their pitching is just superior. So hold on here. I'm just doing some typing here. Okay, so let me just do something real quick here. Hold on. Oops, did I mess up something? Hold on, guys. I'm trying to do something and it's not working out. Okay. Discard changes. Okay. All right. I'm trying to change something here. Hold on. There we go. Give me 1 minute here while I do this. Guys, what's your thoughts on this series? Is it over or do the Brewers have a chance to come back? Do the Brewers have any chance at all to come back in LA down 2-0? They did beat them 6-0 in the regular season, but the regular season, the playoffs, we know 180, complete difference. Makes no difference in the regular season, but the Brewers were in the first game. So yeah, we'll see. Yamamoto. I'm just changing my headline. Dominant. There we go. Did I spell Yamamoto right? Let me see. Hold on one sec, guys. Is it Yama? Yamo be there, huh? One sec here. Yamamoto, got it. All right, there we go. Just trying to change. There we go. All right, we're good. So 2020, man, you Dodger fans, Ian O'Malley, you get your panties in a wad, dude. What do you? Astros cheated in 2017, and then the Red Sox. You sound like you're blaming the umps and the refs, and you sound like one of those guys that can't take a loss. Come on, Ian. You got beat by the Astros games 6 and 7 in your home field. You were up 3-2, if I recall. And I know you lost game 7 at home. So stop your whining, Ian. Do we have anything in the room for Ian? Let's see. Do we got anything in there? Let's see. I don't know if I have. I can't find my little, but we'll just give Ian a little bit of how How about if we give them one of these? One more round for Ian O'Malley. There we go. That's for you, Ian, for whining too much about 2017 and 2018. Come on. You lost. Okay. Let's not worry about that. Okay. All right. So, but this is a team, hey, look, I'm on here. I'm a Giants fan. I'm talking about the whole thing with the Dodgers. Yeah, the Dodgers are probably the best team in baseball, right? 2 years in a row. They look like, but you can have one thing be true and the other thing could be true. I'm saying they're the best team that money can buy. Is there anything wrong with that, guys? That the Dodgers are buying a championship, right? Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani. But there's nothing illegal about it. So they're just smarter. Their front office is just smarter than any other baseball front office. Look, I could tell you as a San Francisco 49er fan, in the 80s, before there was a salary cap, the 49ers were dominant because Eddie DiBartolo would spend the money. He wasn't afraid to spend the money, and everybody loved Eddie D. And then they put a salary cap in, and it became harder to win championships. Same with Joe Lacob. He was spent before they put this new collective bargaining agreement in to kind of help stop teams like the Warriors. The Warriors, Joe Lacob was spending money. There's nothing wrong with spending money. Okay. The teams do it until they can't, right? So there's nothing wrong with saying that the Dodgers are going out and buying to win a championship. Look, if you're a fan of the Dodgers, you want your team to go out and buy, right? They would, as a Giants fan, would love if the Giants owners went out and spent the money to wisely, not spend it on guys like Chapman and Jung-Hoo Lee that are, not stars of the game, but, I don't know. But is it good for the game? We'll see. Are you going to get more owners that are willing to spend more money? Or are you going to get owners that are going to fight the other owners and say, fight against the Dodgers and say, it's not fair? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But as long as it's allowed, man, if I'm a fan of the Dodgers, I'm loving that my owners are out there buying players. That's all I'm saying. You guys, hey, we welcome in Dallas to the show. We got some Dodger fans whining because I said that I compared the Dodgers pitching staff to the Giants 2012 pitching staff, and I said the only difference is the Giants did it, and I feel like a more commendable way. They went out and drafted and developed these guys, and the Dodgers couldn't get that type of pitching to win, so they went out and bought it. They bought Snell. They traded for Glasnow. They bought Ohtani. They bought Yamamoto. They bought Sasaki. Look, I'm not sitting here ripping them for spending. It's allowed. They did everything there's nothing wrong with what they did.
And it must work out financially for them to be able to go this route. So
sure, it works out. They have a huge
I don't think
market.
they wouldn't do it if they were losing money on it, and it's completely, within the bounds of the rules. So why not? The Dodgers fans should be happy that they went ahead that they've done this because they've got a great team on the field. They sell out every game. It's just a big party down in LA, and now everybody else has to try and catch up with them.
Yeah. So to me, it's more about, look, I look at it this way. If this is what baseball is going to allow, then that's it. You've allowed the situation, and if you're not willing to fix it, then go ahead and spend the money. And
the only issue is that the Milwaukee Brewers cannot spend that kind of money. The Sacramento A's can't spend that kind of money. Not that they would anyway. A lot of these smaller market teams can't compete with the Dodgers. So they can suck for 5 years, draft a bunch of players, and then go on a run. And that's a route to it. Teams can put together, can draft and build from their farm system and put together a team that can be competitive, because in the playoffs, anybody can get hot and win a series. It will happen. But what are the chances of it happening? It is possible the Brewers could have won this series. And, mathematically, statistically, it's possible. How likely was it? Probably not that likely. Probably a 25% chance, something like that. So, they still have a chance, but it's not a huge chance because you're competing against, somebody with an unlimited checkbook. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think probably it is unfair to the smaller market teams. Maybe there needs to be some kind of way to make it a little bit more equitable.
Isn't this what the NFL did, and now the NBA is doing to an extent now too?
Yeah, it is. But of course, it benefits the owners when that happens. The NFL is just printing money, not having to worry about your payroll going past a certain point. How awesome is that for NFL owners? Whatever the cap is. Sorry team. Sorry, fan base. That's all I can do. We can raise the price of tickets, but we can build a brand new stadium and then charge an arm and a leg to go there and sit in the hot sun. But but as far as paying the players, that's just set in stone. So the NFL owners have got it good, and I'm sure the baseball owners are envious of them. They're like, my God, these guys are making this much money. They only got to play 17 games, and the sports are very different, and baseball's been around a long time. They have more games, so you can make more that way, selling more tickets. But it's kind of a little bit apples to apples, but in a way, it's not, because right now, teams are able to just spend what they want if they're willing to go over the tax margin, and you're willing to spend. You get less bang for your buck the more you spend. But if you're making that money back, what's it matter?
Yeah, I mean, you look here at Yo Stricken. He says, has there always been a salary cap? If so, why is the Dodgers strategy just now being popularized? No, there's never been a salary cap. There's been penalties for going over. There's kind of a luxury tax that there's the Dodgers, if they wanted to, they can have an $800 million payroll. They'll just pay, $400 million in taxes and have a $1.2 billion, or
Bob Bowie says the Giants are a big market team, only team in town. Charles Johnson is a multi-billionaire. He is a multi-billionaire, and the Giants have tons of money, but their owner is not a fanatic like the Mets,
Yeah, and the Dodger owners. Hey, Mark Wahlberg or whatever his name is. I can't think of I think that's his name, something like that. But he's got a group of guys, and Magic Johnson's in that, and they got a big their conglomerate insurance company. Look, I've had tickets given to me by Security Benefit, who's part of the ownership group of the Dodgers, because of that's what I do. And they gave me tickets right behind the home plate, 3 rows. Okay. Beautiful seats down at Chavez Ravine. I was just on the right side of the plate instead of the left side over there by Mary Hart. I was on the first base side of home plate. Just, I was over there by the on deck circle, right? Just could literally just talk to the players as they came on deck, the visiting team. But
yeah,
I'll just say this, Dallas, that this is, you mentioned that teams like Milwaukee, they act in the A's and Pirates, and they really can't do that. You're right. They really can't. They don't make enough revenue to do that. Whereas the Dodgers can go out and make the revenue, and then make revenue not just at the gate, but in merchandise and concessions and all of that stuff that adds up. And so what they have done is a masterful, it's what you would call an A+ in marketing. They know what they're doing, and their ownership group is very smart. They're competitive as hell. And if baseball is going to not do anything about it, then there's no reason that they should stop doing what they're doing, correct?
The Dodgers? No, absolutely not. If they can
Why
get away with it and they're making money, then they'll definitely
why would
keep
you
doing
blame
it.
that? But see, this is where baseball has to step in. And if you want to have more of an equal footing, like with the NFL has, there's parity for a reason. Now,
yeah,
I don't know if I'm totally a huge fan of parity. It's like I always kind of liked a dominant team to get knocked off by, David takes down Goliath, right? I think
it makes the NFL a better game because you don't have these dynasties. It's impossible to keep a dynasty together for
more than
keep it together for 8 years, but you can't keep it for 12.
Mahomes is what are we on? Like 5 years since 19?
Yeah. I mean, that's about as long as it goes, and it's starting to show its cracks, because you can't keep paying the free agents, and so there is more skill involved being a GM and coaching in the NFL, being able to get the most out of players that maybe aren't the top, in the league. So I think it creates a better sport, honestly, and it's helpful for cities. You don't have, you have the Cleveland Browns, but that are never good, but for the most part, every team, rises and falls at some point. A lot of teams, the Carolina Panthers were good for a few years. Yeah. And
they fell on hard times.
All the teams kind of come up. The Raiders, it's been a while, but so it's not 100% accurate, but for the most part, I mean, just the Niners, how many rises and falls have they had in the last 20 years? There's been multiple. You look at a graph of the Niners and it goes like this, you have a team they put together and it does well, and then it falls off, and then you have a 5-12 year, and then you go back and you try and rebuild and do it again.
Yeah, McCourt. Remember the Dodgers, Frank McCourt? That's when Ned Coletti was working for him, and they didn't have much money. See, what it is it's an ownership groups. So baseball has to. Here's how you correct it. We talked a little bit about it. I think it was last night or the night before. You got to have you got to put in a cap and a floor. Then everybody's within. You're either on, floor 2, or you can go up. The elevator can go as high as floor 3, but it starts at floor 2. Okay, there's no, hey, you're sitting down here on floor 1. I should make a different analogy. Maybe 10 floors. You got the 10th floor. You can't
go down into the parking garage.
Yeah, you're on the 10th floor, and you got teams like the Pirates, the A's, the Marlins, and many others that they don't even want to get onto the first floor. What they do, Dallas, is they get their money from revenue sharing, and they pocket that, and they don't put it into the teams. And fans are the ones that get cheated. The owners make money. There's not an owner in baseball that owns a team to lose money. They are out there to make money.
True. And then different owners, some of them, it's just a business and it's all about making money. And the Giants are in that situation. Charles Johnson, he's 92 years old. He can't name 5 players on the Giants. Now his son, Greg Johnson, has gotten involved in baseball, and he's friends with Buster Posey, and they golf together. And so it's a great hope for the Giants as a franchise if their owner, that's the controlling owner, is buying into getting, he's drinking the Kool-Aid and kind of getting on board with having a winning team and going for it. And so maybe there's some influence there. Maybe we have a chance to have a guy that is into baseball a little bit, and it's not just about, you can make money either way, but you could focus on the real estate deals and your other, teams that you have in other places, and, buying soccer teams, and, all these teams have other investments that they try and make money on. But you want to make sure that baseball is your top priority. And that takes someone in the ownership group at the top that appreciates that. So you want to be in a situation where that's the case. And maybe there's a chance here with this, with the son.
We'll see. But, to me, fans are cheated throughout Major League Baseball in different markets. And if baseball is not going to do anything about it, then you're going to have imbalance. You're going to have teams that continue to lose, and you're going to have teams like the Phillies and the Dodgers and the Yankees and those teams that are willing to go out and spend, the Padres, and they're going to make the playoffs, and teams, over my shoulder, teams, now, and some teams are just crap. They're run crappy, like the Angels. They're horrible. Yeah. The White Sox.
Do you think they should institute a rule, and it would never pass if you had to run it by ownership, but you have to make the playoffs at least once in 10 years, or you have to sell your team?
I'll tell you what. I think. How about if you have to have a winning record?
Okay, I'll go with
at
that.
least once every 7 years, 5 years, a winning record.
5 seems too low. Like if you're rebuilding, maybe you go 5 years and you actually are trying. I don't know if that's true or not, but 5 seems like too short. 10 seems like too long if you're just trying to be over 500. So maybe it is 7 or 8.
You should be able to have an over 500 team every 7 years minimum. But right. I like the winning record. I kind of like the playoff thing too. Every 10 years, if you can, come on, this is ridiculous.
Say a team like the White Sox gets to the 5th year and they haven't been over 500. all of a sudden you're going to be seeing a team that wants to desperately win because that owner doesn't want to sell his team. So all of a sudden you're going to see a team that is dead set on winning.
Yeah, and Philip makes a great comment. This is true. The Dodgers are smart in how they spend their money. We're effing ridiculous in how we spend ours. Talking about the Giants, absolutely. I have ripped Giants ownership for years and will continue to do so because they go out and spend money on Matt Chapman, Jung-Hoo Lee, and to an extent, Willie Adames. I can live with Willie Adames signing because it's one signing, but I can't live with the Chapman and Jung-Hoo Lee signings because
it's hard to criticize Jung-Hoo Lee though, because the Dodgers are in the mix and they're signing all these foreign players, Japanese players.
But they're signing good ones. They're signing good ones though, Dallas.
But you don't know who's going to be good and who's not. You signed the best Korean player. So
who's not good that the Dodgers haven't signed? If Hae-Sung Kim's not that good, big deal. They paid him nothing. Giants gave $20 million to Lee. That's stupid spending. If Sasaki, they didn't have to pay him anything. Yamamoto's looks like he's worth his weight in gold. Ohtani's worth a stinking franchise. Who's the other guy that they've gone out and Freeman and Betts were trades. Muncy, I think, was either a small acquisition at the time. Teoscar was a free agent. But those are smart moves. Those are probably the worst move the Dodgers made was Michael Conforto, if you want to be truthful about it. That's probably the one that, and they've made some mistakes on some of their pitching. But
yeah, but Michael Conforto was bad on the Giants, but he was good in the past, so maybe you think, okay, you come to this organization, you take the pressure off him, maybe he can get back to his regular form. And didn't end up working out, but I don't fault the move on that. I mean,
yeah, I think the Dodgers are smart.
100% of your moves are going to work out.
Yeah, I just don't think the Giants. I'm in agreement with Philip here. I don't think the Giants spend their money smartly this year. You better go out and get 3 starting pitchers. The Dodgers have how many starting pitchers do the Dodgers have? They have. Let's just start from the rotation. Snell, Yamamoto, Ohtani, Glasnow. They had Kershaw. They've got Sheehan. Who's their 5th starter? Seems like there was another one that they had in there. They got Kershaw
Sasaki.
and Sheehan, Sasaki. I don't know. They may make him the closer going forward. Who knows? But he'll probably go back to starting. So they've got all this starting pitching. The Giants have Webb and then Ray for a year. The Dodgers have Snell for 4 more years. They've got Yamamoto for 8 or 9 more years. They've got Ohtani forever, and they got Glasnow signed. The Dodgers are locked, okay? That is, as much as I can't stand the team itself, the organization is printing money. They don't care if these guys play the first half. I can almost wouldn't be shocked if in Blake Snell's contract it has language that says, hey, I am just going to coast in the first half. I'll work myself into shape, and I will be there for the stretch drive and the playoffs, and that's all you need me for. If you're willing to sign me for $36 million, you'll have one of the top 2 or 3 pitchers in the game for you down the stretch in the postseason. And the Dodgers probably went, yeah, we don't need you in the first half. Go ahead and smoke your weed and play your video games and enjoy the first half. That's how they run. They operate that way. They didn't even look like they broke a sweat in the first 100 games. Like they even were worried. They would get up for the series that they had to, like against the Padres and against the Giants when they were, trying to get close to them. And then they would just slap them away and just say, get out of here. Come back when you got a team ready to compete with us. And, and I think that's an issue with the ownerships of, yeah. And that's the other thing, the TV deal. That was, what was that deal was? It's like 300 billion or something, or let me look it up. It was some crazy amount that the Dodgers have, that LA Dodgers TV deal. 25-year, 8.35 billion, not 350 billion. I was thinking 350 million, but 8.35 billion. And
yeah,
that is bizarre.
Yes. I mean, it's a huge number, but they have that because they have the population. There's 14 million people in the greater Los Angeles area, and the Bay Area has 7 million people. So they have double the population, within driving. Now they do.
What's the Bay Area have? What's the Bay Area population?
I mean, the greater San Francisco Bay Area, I just Googled it. It says 7.7. I don't know what that range is.
What's the Southern California? What's the greater Southern California?
Greater Los Angeles area is 14.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, who knows the borders on these numbers, and does that include Orange County or not? It says 18 million greater Los Angeles area.
Yeah.
So
Dodgers
there's a lot of people there. And they're the
Dodgers
biggest game in town.
One of the largest money managers in the world. They're loaded. Their balance sheet is a blip on the radar. The owner just wants to win, period. Yeah. Look, again, I'm not here to rip on the Dodgers ownership group. I made the comment and people went nuts. All as I said was, I think the Giants, what they did in 2012 and shut down the Detroit Tigers in 4 games, is reminding me of what the Dodgers are doing to the rest of baseball, shutting teams down with their pitching. It's elite. All as I said is, I think the Giants was a better way of doing it for the love of the game by drafting and developing. Now, I think that's
the smartest thing the Dodgers did. They have all these hitters, which is great, and their pitching staff was suspect the early part of the year, but everyone got healthy at the right time, and they all peaked at the right time.
Yeah.
And now they're playing extremely well, and there's nobody else in the playoffs that are even close to the pitching depth that the Dodgers have. And that's why they're going to win again, because it comes down to pitching. These other teams, they're having to scrap together pitchers and have openers and bullpen games and just trying to piece it together, because nobody has enough pitching depth, and the Dodgers do. They have so many starters. They have the relievers are starters. So that's why they're in such a good shape.
Look,
and it was smart.
I'm just here. Look, I know Giants fans don't like me saying this, and I'm not trying to, pan for the Dodgers. I'm just saying, look, if you're a Giants fan, you would be thrilled if you had owners like the Dodgers owners, that with their desire to win, their desire to spend money, and their desire to go out and get the best players. We would be in the chat and we would be having fun, and we would be saying, hey, tough luck. We got the best players. This is just a fact. We if we're gonna sit here and rip on the Dodgers for spending, then you got to be real with yourself and say, would you rip on your team if your team was spending? I don't think so. I think as fans, we like to rip on other teams that are better than us. The Dodgers are, look, you want to talk about the 10th floor and the basement? The Dodgers are on the 10th floor. The Giants are in the basement practically compared to the Dodgers. let's be real. The
Yeah.
Giants, look.
But there's a roadmap for the Giants, though, and you got to have pitching. So you hope that they have learned a lesson from this, and they go into this postseason knowing they need to beef up their pitching staff because they need to be competitive. I mean, at the end of the day, the Dodgers they pulled away at the end, but this season was quite competitive with the Padres for stretches of the year, with the Giants for half the year, and then the Dodgers pulled away at the end.
Did you see the graphic tonight that said something like the Dodgers were like 22-32 or 20 in their previous 54 games, and they were like 21-6 or something in their last 27 games? Look, they're just they what were they playing for? 162. The Dodgers didn't care about being a third seed.
No, they didn't. They might have preferred it.
Yeah, they might have preferred it. Look, hey, we'll just go out and we'll play a baseball, and you're taking your chances with a 3-game series, I think, because anything can happen.
One more thing that the Dodgers did, and I don't want to heap praise on the Dodgers, but this deferred thing that they did with the deferred money, you think that, they've deferred all this money and it's going to come back and bite them in the ass in 10 years, right? I don't think that's the case. They've taken $1 billion and they've deferred it 10 years in the future, right? Well, that $1 billion, you just put it in the bank and invest it, and you keep it for 10 years. You're making money on that $1 billion. And then in 10 years, $1 billion is worth $775 or whatever. The money, $1 billion 10 years from now is a lot less than what $1 billion is right now.
They paid Shohei what?
$1 billion of today's dollars, and then you have to pay out, $1 billion future dollars, which are worth less. Plus, you get 10 years of investment. Do whatever you want with that $1 billion. That you're going to make money on. So it's actually been smart the way that they've deferred these contracts.
Absolutely, they're owned by an insurance company. I do this for a living. Let me explain how this works. You kind of did there too. $700,000 is what they paid Shohei. He's getting what, $1 or $2 million a year, and the rest is deferred or something like that. $68 million a year deferred. So they owe him $680 at the end of 10 years. Do you realize money doubles in 10 years at the rate of 7%? Okay, so they owe him $680. All as they had to do is take $340 million, put it into a 10-year annuity at 7%, or another investment. I've got investments, by the way, guys, anybody wants it. I've got investments that are 7% guaranteed for 2 years or 8% for 5 years.
But these are billionaires. They have access to financial instruments that we don't even know about.
Of course they do. They're owned by Security Benefit Life. Okay. So you take the 300, you don't even have to probably take 340 million because they probably are getting more than 7% on the money, but you easily can get 7%. So in essence, you got Shohei Ohtani for like $350 million for 10 years. You're paying, seriously, that's all they're paying. They just put the 300 to 340 in a annuity, let it grow for 10 years, and at the end of 10 years, you hand Shohei a check for $680 million. What did it cost you? 300 to 340, roughly. Money doubles every 10 years at the rate of 7.2%. It's called the rule of 72. So, and Guggenheim is the owner of Security Benefit Life, and they manage, as David Hughes says, $345 billion in assets. So, they are probably getting closer to 10% on their money because they can put, as you said, they can put in huge chunks of money for a higher rate. If I can get any one of you guys in the chat, if you want 8% guaranteed for 5 years, ring me up. All right. Give me a call. Let me know. You can email me at dan@securemoney.com. That's right. Dan@securemoney. I'll put that in the chat for you. And securemoney.com. There you go. You want to learn? You want your money to grow? Email me. 7% guaranteed for 2 years.
Tonight's show is sponsored by Dan@securemoney.com.
Yeah, Dan@securemoney.com. I'll get you 8% for 5 years, guaranteed. Minimum investment $25,000. Okay, so if you want your money to grow, that's how you do it. And S&P, I can get you in the S&P too. I'll put you in the S&P, and you can never lose money, and you'll probably average about 6-7% growth over 10-year period. So the Dodgers have it rolling. Absolutely have it rolling. And it's going to take a remarkable pitching series by, I think, the Mariners, because I don't think the Blue Jays can pitch with the Dodgers. They got, two starters that they got, Savage and Gosman, and then they go with Scherzer and Shane Bieber or whatever. Is that? I think that's their pitching, and don't they have Lauer too?
You got to play the games. I mean, the Blue Jays, Yamamoto is beatable. The Giants beat him this year. I've seen it done. I've seen him get beat. I've seen him have a bad game. Is it likely he's going to? No, it's not.
Yeah, Casey Schmidt hit a blast off him, that grand slam.
Yes. So it's possible for these guys to have a bad game and for the Blue Jays to run into a few and get hot. But percentage wise, you're not putting your money on that.
Yeah. Siop Choi is a Korean barbecue dish. That's pretty funny. But yeah, guys, baseball's going to have a problem if they don't. You got to do one of two things. You either got to put owners in there that are willing to spend the money, and you're going to have closer to equal revenue sharing. Like you mentioned, the TV contract. We mentioned that the Dodgers advantage, and I think that goes through like 2038 or something like that.
Revenue sharing's fine if you want a competitive product, but you have to insist that they put it into the team.
That's why you need a floor and a cap.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want a cap, you got to have at least a floor. I mean, Major League Baseball said they were going to come down on the A's if the A's didn't spend more money. And they went up to like 78 million for their payroll. But they didn't even go up to 100 million.
The players would love a floor, I'm sure. But
I think the floors, look, I like the idea of at least a 150 floor. That is basically what puts you up there where the Giants payroll it was a little bit higher. But
Mark Graves, how many owners would sell the team if they had a floor of 150 million? I have no idea. I have no idea what the profit margins are and how much money there is on the table. If they had to pay out 150 million, I have no idea. Or if you increase the revenue sharing so that it's affordable.
Players would love
the
a
books
floor.
Are not open, so we really don't know how the math all works out, and they want to keep it that way. But there's got to be a better way, and they're never going to agree to a cap unless the players. I mean, maybe they would have to. I don't know.
Well, if you had a cap, and there was a floor, and there was a cap, that would spread some of the stars around because they wouldn't all go to the teams that pushed you over the cap. They would be like, oh, well, if I want to get my money, I got to go to Pittsburgh. I got to go to the Marlins because I want my $40 million a year. Well, sorry, the Dodgers are over, the Mets are over, the Yankees are over, the Phillies are over. You can't go there if you want your $40 million. You want to take less?
Like the NBA.
Yeah. I think it's needed. I mean, the NBA doesn't. Baseball is the only major sport that has a problem with this now.
Mm-hmm.
NHL, NBA, and the NFL. And that's why, look, this argument gets kind of knocked down if the Mariners somehow win it all, right? Or a team like Milwaukee comes back and knocks off the Dodgers. Then it's like, well, they didn't win it. The Mets didn't win it. Why are we complaining about huge salaries? Anthony, I think he's right. He says the NFL is the template. It kind of is. Everybody makes money in the NFL. And there's, I don't know. Yeah, it's that TV deal, right, Philip? Because nobody has a TV deal like the Dodgers. I think that would be the argument. Mark Graves, the NHL had to change their system. Teams were in trouble. George Curry says players don't want a salary cap. It only benefits the owners. The floor would have to be around 170 to 180 for the players to agree. They would have to raise the vet minimum and the pre-arbitration. Yeah, I was guessing about 150. I don't know why the players wouldn't go for a floor and a ceiling. I mean, geez, that would raise so many people's salaries. If you had a 26-man roster and you had a $175 million floor, that's an average of $6.7 million a guy. And
it's also you get into these labor disputes, and it's like, who's going to blink first?
Right.
If there's a lockout and if teams are not playing, you've got these billionaires that are losing millions of dollars a day or whatever it is for them. And then you got these players that are losing, as a percentage of their wealth, they're losing more. A year off for them is a big chunk of change as far as the money they're going to make in their career. So it's I don't know who blinks first in that situation.
Yeah, true. Jill says, in my opinion, Seattle's going to beat LA, and I'll take my bow now. My bow, not bow.
I hope you're right, Jill.
There we go. You know what? I picked the Phillies over the Dodgers. Why? Because it was a 5-game series, and I liked Christopher Sanchez, and I liked Ranger Suarez in that series. Left-handed bats. I thought they could neutralize LA enough, and I figured the Phillies would win at least one at home and then one in LA and then bring it back for Game 5. If you look at those games, Phillies were up 3-0 in Game 1 with Sanchez on the mound, and the Dodgers got back into it and won 5-3. And then Game 2, the Phillies, I think that was the only game that wasn't close. Game 3, they won. Game 4, they blew. And, so I definitely think a team like Seattle can beat the Dodgers. Is it going to be easy? No, not at all. But I think they have the pitching. They're hot. I mean, they had a great run down the stretch to take over the Astros and just basically, took it to Houston. And Seattle has really struggled in previous years to finish and get in the playoffs. So I think that would be probably your best series. I know a lot of people say Toronto because they hit, but Milwaukee hits too. And look what pitching is doing to Milwaukee, right? Shutting them down. And I go back to that Giants 2012 team. Why? Because that 2012 team, they got on a roll, right? They were down 3-1 to the Cardinals. They came back, won 3 in a row, and then they won 4 in a row against Detroit. And if you look at those scores in that World Series, it was dominance by the Giants pitching. So we'll see where the thing goes. But we can talk till we're blue in the face on this whole thing with the salary. Nothing's probably going to change with it. It all started at the beginning of the show when I said, the Giants, I thought their 2012 was just kind of like a cool way they did it. They didn't go spend like the Dodgers have and bought their pitching staff. But, baseball was different in 2012. The Dodgers were not spending crazy money like that. And this ownership group that they've got will do whatever it takes to win. They want to. I think this ownership group, if they said, well, we're going to lose a little bit of our money, but we're going to win a championship, I think they take that because they know that eventually that'll turn into money later down the road. They don't, they're not looking at it year to year like, oh gosh, we got to make what was it? Greg Johnson that said we got to at least want to break even,
like you're not breaking even. Like that's even a possibility.
Right. So we'll see. Jill says Seattle's going to beat Toronto and then LA. Let's hope so. I hope these series become something instead of just like 4-0, 4-1 blitzkrieg's. What would suck?
Yeah. Looking at the odds now, the Dodgers are minus 175 and the Mariners are plus 180. So you're getting close to 2-1.
I might take the Mariners.
Now the Blue Jays down 0-2, it's plus 1,600. You bet $100 and win 1,600 if they come back and win.
Bet how much?
It's plus 1,600.
Whoa. 100 wins you 1,500.
Right. Yeah. So it's a pretty long shot. The Brewers are plus 1,400. So the teams that are down, it's a long shot on those.
What's the Brewers odds right now?
1,400.
And it's worse for it's worse for the Blue Jays?
Worse for the Jays. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I would think it's worse for the Brewers.
They don't think the Blue Jays are coming back, looks like.
I might have to take some. I might try that on. Wow. Well, I'm rooting for Seattle. Obviously, that's the team I've kind of wanted to see win it. Yeah, imagine Johnson saying break even when they had 27,000 season ticket holders. Yeah, back in the day. Now they got, I don't even know what it is now. Lou knows that. I'm going to have to ask Lou on that one. Dan in Dallas, would you trade Eldridge to Cleveland for Cade Smith, Stephen Kwan, and Tanner Bybee? Wow, you get a good closer in Cade Smith, you get a good left fielder in Stephen Kwan, and you get a starting pitcher in Tanner Bybee. I'd highly consider that.
I'd do it.
I think you'd have to do that. Now, let me put together something. I want to show you guys.
I want to see Eldridge. I want to see what he's got, but they have a very similar player that's proven in Devers. So, the big left-handed bat that plays first base. So, I don't know. you got to at least listen to these offers and see, because there are some holes to fill on the Giants, and you can fill some of those with giving up a piece that you kind of have duplicated that's still unproven and still strikes out a lot. Maybe you think about that.
Let me bring up a trade. There was some talk today that a Cincinnati Reds writer mentioned that the Hunter Green of Cincinnati might be on the trade block for the Reds to get some more pitching or hitting, more hitting. And I was reading some of these. Let me see if I can find it. I'll see if I can find this. This was hilarious to me. Giants fans, you got to think with your brain a little bit more than you're like. Come on. All right. So here's the. Let me see. Is this it? Okay. Here. Let me pull it up now. All right. So this is on Twitter. You guys got to read some of these comments. This is hilarious. Okay. From Giant Hot Takes, Reds beat reporter Mike Sheldon has speculated that Hunter Green could be involved in a trade talks in the offseason. The Reds would be interested in getting Major League bats in return. What is the most you would give up for Green? He says, count me in as well. All right. Now listen to some of these, or look at some of these trades people are throwing back up. Okay. I put my 2 cents in. All right. Here we go. Someone says probably have to start with Eldridge, Ramos, Matos, and Luciano. Cincinnati's okay. Ramos has a value of like 16 trade value surplus. Matos and Luciano 0. Birdsong, Ramos, and insert random prospect. All right, Matos or Luciano. That's about it for Hunter Green. Okay. All right, guys, now that I've laughed you off enough, I put in there, I'm cracking up at all the people who just want to give up the Giants rejects for an ace like Hunter Green. Guys like Matos and Luciano's surplus value are ranked at 0. It would cost the Giants their top 2 prospects and Ramos or Bailey to equal Green's value. All right? So let me show you the trade machine and show you what I'm talking about to get Hunter Green. And then I'm going to, oops, not that one. I don't want that one. I want this one. Okay. All right. There's your trade right there, guys. Hunter Green, 76.1. By the way, Logan Webb, if you want to look at Logan Webb, he's a 62.7. Hunter Green is a 76. Because he's a guy that can shut you down. Look what you'd have to give up. The next highest ranked person in the Giants organization with surplus is Bryce Eldridge and Jusar Jesus Gonzalez. And then you'd have to give up Ramos just to equal what Hunter Green. Okay. And before you guys say, well, this trade machine is nuts, let me just show you a little bit about their track record. Real life trades, 973 since August of 2019. Trades that were accepted by this trade machine value, 910, 93.6%, average margin of error, 2.2 off. Okay. Recent trades we got right. A lot of these are, there's your Marlins and Phillies for Jesus Luzardo, Red Sox, Garrett Crochet. See how this guy's works? This machine, I'm telling you, Garrett Crochet, 53.4. The White Sox gave up 56.6. Okay. And there's your average of being off by 2.2. Okay. It's just right there. These trades machine is pretty accurate. And I get people all the time saying, well, the machine is a joke.
What's an accepted trade, though? How far off does it have to be?
Within about 3 or 4. The average is 2.2. So you're not going to get Hunter Green for Matos and Luciano. And It's just silly.
Bro, for sure not. Yeah.
The
guy's really good.
Mark Grace, are you reading the casuals text? That was somebody. Yeah, those were casuals in the chat. People, you got to think. Let me just show you what the Giants have, guys. So you're aware. The Giants cannot make a lot of trades. They don't have the value. Give me a guy you want, and I'll show you what the machine says. The Giants, how about with I hear a lot of people talking about Stephen Kwan, right? The Giants want to go get Stephen Kwan. Well, let's see how it takes to get a Stephen Kwan. And it would take Eldridge. Okay, so we're going to do, what the heck's their name? Guardians. And Giants. Is this showing up right now, this machine?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm not looking at the screen. All right, so Guardians. We'll go to the surplus, and they rank them from top to bottom. Okay, there's Ramirez at 54, Cade Smith at 40, Bybee at 39, Kwan 34. What was it? What was the trade that was for Cade Smith, Bybee, and Kwan, right? Is what somebody wanted for Eldridge?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't work according to the machine. Look, guys, Tanner Bybee, Giants, Stephen Kwan, Giants. All right. Giants have to come up with 114. They'd have to come up with a minimum of 100. You'd have to sell the team. Because the Giants surplus, you don't have the means to do it. You can do with Eldridge. You'd have to do it Eldridge. You'd have to go with Gonzalez. That's 20. You'd probably have to go with Ramos. And you'd probably have to you'd have to go with Bo Davidson. You'd have to go, I mean, I'm assuming you're trying to keep Webb here. Oh, man. What can the Giants give up? I mean, where are we at? We're at 92. We need another 20. We can go Patrick Bailey. Would you do that? All right, there's your trade. Would you do that? Giants fans.
No. That's too expensive. You're mortgaging your future for maybe being relevant now. I don't know if Kwan and I don't know if that puts them over the top.
Yeah. I don't think that works. You're giving up Eldridge. You're giving up Gonzalez, Ramos, Bo Davidson, and Patrick Bailey. Somebody says, so Eldridge is better than Kwan. It doesn't mean better. What it means is that he eventually, Kwan is going to cost you more, where Eldridge is cheap enough for, you got 6 years of control for him before he's free agent eligible. And Kwan's probably got another 2 years. Let me look at Stephen Kwan under Kotz. I'll tell you where Stephen Kwan, what his situation is. Stephen Kwan, get this to open up. If it wants to open up for us. Buffering. All right, we're going to buffer and buffer. We'll reboot. Let's see if we can get this to. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, you know what? Cleveland's payroll is $95 million total for the 40-man, and their year-end 40-man was 73.4. Stephen Kwan is arbitration eligible at 26 for 9.175 roughly is the calculation. And then he's got arbitration 3 next year, 27, or I should say 27, and he's a free agent. That's why his value would drop a little bit, where Eldridge has, obviously Kwan's the more established, more better player, but that's 6 years of control for a future potential star, for not just a star, but a possible stud is, but it's not the highest value. Who's the, who's the number one, pull up, who's the number one ranked prospect in baseball? I think it's with the Pirates. I'll just show you what I'm talking about compared to Eldridge. The Pirates.
Connor Griffin.
Yeah, I think he's the number one prospect. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to give you an idea, guys, we think Eldridge is like everything, and he is to the Giants. But when you look at baseball, look at Paul Skeen's surplus value, 130. Remember, Logan Webb's is like, what was it, 56 or 62, something like that. Look at Connor Griffin, Bubba Chandler. Paul Skeen's 130, Connor Griffin 73. Give me another top prospect. I know most of them, but give me another one that plays for
the A's.
No, not the A's. Well, you know what? We could look up the A's. We could look up Nick Kurtz. Let's look up Nick Kurtz. Hold on. Just to give you an idea, compare him to Eldridge. Trade simulator. 2 teams. We'll select the A's. All right. If you wanted an A's Giants trade, and you said, what is Nick Kurtz surplus value? Is that oh, it is up there. Okay. You can't see it. It's a little fuzzy, right?
We see it.
You can see it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Nick Kurtz and DeVries, the guy they got for Mason Miller. Look at that. 58 and 52. Jacob Wilson, a 50. Lawrence Butler, a 41. Tyler Soderstrom, a 33. Brent Rooker, a 28. Shea Langoliers, a 22. This is why I like the A's over the Giants in the next few years. I like the direction of the A's, even though despite they got a crappy owner. You compare that, what was Eldridge? 41. Okay. So I'm surprised Nick Kurtz is not even higher than Connor Griffin. Nick Kurtz is a stud. So I think the Giants, we think they're going to be very active, right, in these trade. Giants don't have much to bring back in terms of talent that's going to be superior to what they already have. You want a Stephen Kwan, you're going to pay for it. You want a Hunter Green, it's going to cost you too much. I'll bet you Hunter Green's more valuable than Tariq Skubal right now. Why? Because of the free agency pending after next year for Skubal. Let's look at Skubal's value. It's probably still high because he's so doggone good, right? Skubal. Is this thing up or is it not showing?
It shows.
Okay, 51.6, a little less than Webb. Why is Webb higher than Skubal? Because Webb who's the better pitcher? Not even close, right? It's Skubal. But Webb has a great contract, and he signed for a few more years, three at least, maybe 4. Skubal's got 1 year left on his contract. You want to look at guys' contracts that are prohibitive? You want to see something what the values are for the rest of the Giants? You guys want to see what somebody like a Rafi Devers on page 5? Rafi Devers, minus 32. Jung-Hoo Lee, minus 20. Robbie Ray, minus 14. This is why probably the Giants weren't able to trade Robbie Ray and get anything of significance, because baseball teams want control of their players for at least 3-4 years, right?
Yeah.
And if you're going to trade guys that have these enormous contracts, you can have control of them, but you're going to have to trade them to a handful of teams.
Right. So, I mean, the Giants, if they don't have the trade pieces, then they're going to have to spend some money. So,
and I think that's what they do.
They have some money to spend. I mean, the luxury tax goes up next year to $244 million. The Giants currently only have 140 spent on next year.
They're roughly about 170.
And then when they sign the arbitration eligible guys, it's going to be 160. So they're going to have, $80 million or so.
I think you're right. I think you're about right on that mark. I was looking that up earlier, and let me see if I can find it where I was before. Where was it? Let me look here. The Giants. Where did I see that? Trying to find it. Oh, okay. Here we go. It was Kotz, and it was Jeff Young on Twitter who reported it. Let me give Jeff some credit here. I'll pull that up. Okay. Kotz has updated projected starting point for the Giants payroll to be at 184, leaving about 60 million below the 244 CBT threshold. This assumes that they tender contracts to all 5, maybe 5 of their arbitration eligible players, which I'd be surprised to see. Guaranteed contracts next year, 6 players of 138.5. Arbitration, 4 players currently eligible. That would be 5 million roughly. What is that?
I mean, there's the 5 players that are arbitration eligible. Bailey, you extend him a contract, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Ryan Walker, a lot of fans will say don't, but bullpen guys are able to turn it around. You never know. You don't want to let go of Walker because he's been your closer at certain points in the last 2 years and been good. So you have to keep him alive. Kisner, I don't think you need.
No, Kisner.
You have other plans for backup catcher.
You got Rodriguez.
You've got Brubaker. I don't think he impressed anybody. He's probably not worth the $9 million or whatever he's projected to get. And then you got Lucchesi, who I think earned himself a spot. So
so it's probably 3 guys.
3 out of 5, yeah.
Yeah. What does arbitration eligible mean? Hope. Good question. Well, it means after they've played 3 years at the big league level, they are eligible to a certain increase in salary based on what factors do they base that on? It's the average, some kind of average, I believe. And
there's a calculation.
Yeah, some kind of calculation. And so what will happen is the team will submit a figure and the player's representative will submit a figure. And it's generally like, let's say that, well, for example, the J.D. Davis a couple years ago, I think he submitted a deal for like 6.5 or something like that million. The Giants were offering like 4, something like that. And if they usually will settle somewhere in the middle before they go to arbitration. So they'll come to an agreement and they'll say, okay, we'll do it at 5.3 million. And they'll come to an agreement and say, okay, they accept that. But in some cases, if it goes to arbitration, it gets very, very ugly because the owners or the team is coming out with facts pretty much degrading the player, why he's not worth that 2 million extra that the player wants. And then the player comes back and says how much he wants and why he deserves that. And then the arbitrator will make a decision. And in the case of J.D. Davis, he won the arbitration case, but Farhan pulled a fast one on him and cut him, which made his money not guaranteed. And he ended up losing like 3. He didn't even win he won his arbitration case, but didn't get the money. He would have been better off settling. And if he settled, that's guaranteed contract. So, yeah. And and by the way, that move that Farhan pulled off, don't think for a minute that other players are not aware of that and what that, Buster can heal that and fix it, but it takes time. Maybe he can fix it right away because of his reputation. But if Farhan was still around, no one was going to come sign with the Giants of significance.
Yeah. And maybe that factors into last year where the Giants just said, okay, all your arbitration eligible, 9.25. There you go. Yes. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. No drama.
Maybe so. Yeah. When you get a bad rep as a organization, it can hurt you in a lot of ways. So, well, guys, one game tomorrow and then back to 2 on Thursday and Friday. Maybe. Maybe there's 2. Maybe there's 2 on Friday if Seattle doesn't sweep. But we got one game tomorrow. I'm not sure if we'll do a live on it. It's Mariners and Blue Jays. Our audience is more National League, it seems like. Maybe I'll do a video. Maybe we'll do something. Who knows? Maybe we'll do something NBA related. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. 40th anniversary of the Ozzie Smith home run against the Dodgers. Jack Buck. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. Yeah, Jack Buck. He was great. Joe Buck's dad. Yeah. So, guys, appreciate you being in this chat. You guys are the best. Make sure you go ahead and hit the like button right now. We've got, how many likes do we got in here? Oh, wow. Guys, we got over 88, almost 90 watching. And we only have 31 likes. Make sure you hit that like button, guys.
Nicholas Robertson, have you liked yet? You better go click that button.
Come on.
Philip has. Adrian Gutierrez.
Come on, Dodger
fans. That like button. Come on.
If you're gonna storm our chat, you got to hit the like button.
We're gonna go one by one here.
You gotta like us. Maybe you don't like some of the guys in the chat, but Beto says, no, you're the best, Dad. Love it. All right. Give us a like, everybody, because it does help push the video out. It says 49 likes. Maybe I need to refresh. I'm showing 31. It's stuck. But let me refresh. Let me refresh because
Truth Hurts. Wilkie, did you click that button? Go click the like button. Thumbs up.
Calling everybody out.
Kyle McKiernan, come on, man.
Kyle does it. Kyle does it right away. Kyle does it right away. Oh, 58. We're up to 58. There we go. All right. Way to go, chat. I love you. All right.
Just like 58 social.
Jill hit it. I could always count on Jill. Yes. All right. Go Red Sox. I was pulling for the Red Sox, man. I wanted to see the Red Sox take down the Yankees. They had their chance too, didn't they? In game 2. They should have won it. I got it. At least the Yankees got eliminated, though. At least the Yankees got eliminated. 59. Hey, maybe we can hit 60. That would be great. 60. 65. That'd be good. All right. Hiroku, good job. Good to see you in here. Hope Springs Eternal. Anthony. Mark Graves, as always. Farhan is the reason Vogt didn't sign here as a manager. Yep, sure was. Marty Lurie, if you guys talk to Marty, I was talking to him a little bit today by text. Kai Correa left Cleveland to go become the bench coach of the New York Mets. And if you listen to Marty, Marty's got a take that he thinks that Stephen Vogt, there could be some negotiating going on with him coming to the Giants. That would be rather interesting because, Correa left. Maybe Craig Alvarez, who was kind of the assistant manager at Cleveland, takes over at Cleveland and Vogt comes to the Giants. I would be all for that. Maybe Kai Correa, who knows? I mean, it is a promotion to go up to the bench coach, right?
What was he before on the Guardians?
I looked it up today. He was some kind of
water
special,
boy,
something like that. Yeah, it was. I'll tell you here in a minute. I just gotta. I need to get a new phone. My phone's moving slow. It might be because I have 19,000 photos and videos in my phone. That's a lot, isn't it? That's a lot.
Sounds like you need a bigger phone.
I got a huge phone. I got big time memory. I don't know what it is. It's a gig or whatever. It's the max that you can do. Cleveland. How did I look it up? What was Kai Correa? Let me look. I looked it up earlier.
Director of Defense, Base Running, and Game Strategy.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it sounds like a Gabe Kapler title.
Well, man, no wonder why the Giants faltered this year. We didn't even have one of those.
Clear my cache. I can clear cache on an iPhone?
Cache, but yeah.
Cache? Is that how, it's not cache, it's cache. Can you tell me how to do that? Now we're getting
on
technical.
Your iPhone?
Yeah. How do I do this? What do I do? Go to settings?
We'll talk offline, Dan.
Oh, I thought we could do this live. This would be, everybody would love it, right? See my phone just blow up. All right. We're going to get out of here. Tech support. Yeah, I need tech.
Tech support.
Are you an iPhone guy?
I am, yeah.
Okay, good. You can help me then. All right, here goes the music. Oops, I better turn down.
What iPhone volume. Do you have, Dan?
I still have the 13 Pro Max.
All right, it's time for a new one.
17. It's paid for. I just hate paying stuff. It works.
They'll get you into a new one.
Yeah, I got to call T-Mobile. I used to have Verizon for years, but T-Mobile pays the MLB network bill and Netflix and a bunch of other things.
Yeah, and they all use the same towers and everything, so you're really getting the same product.
Yeah,
for cheaper.
So I'll take the benefits, and my price is locked in for life. 3 phones, wow. 3 phones for $126 a month, unlimited, right? Talk, text, data, plus
pretty good
international travel.
This is Phone Talk on NorCal Sports Network.
Yes, and I'm going to turn the music on, but I bet it's really loud because I forgot to turn it down when I gave Ian the clown voice. Woo, that loud? Bring it down. There we go. Beto, he has a 13 Pro Max too. All right. Yeah, man, the phone works fine. There's the beautiful missus right there, yeah. Oh. Probably doesn't want me showing her picture, but that's my bride. That's my baby. Adilos. Heroku keeping it as an OG. Adilos when Los was more of a regular back in 23. Los said, I got to have a life. I can't go on that NorCal every night. Do you have a trade machine scenario for my phone?
Yeah. Give your old phone plus $300.
Maybe I should get one of those orange ones that they're putting on TV, right? Get one of those bright orange ones.
As long as it's the right orange, the Giants orange.
YouTube stores cash too. I said cash. I said cash, not cachet. I got it right.
Good job.
Hey, let me ask you. Is it, if you have a niche, is it a niche or a niche?
Oh, you can say both. It depends on
Okay.
how fancy you are.
Okay, because I have some people I talk to that are international and they pronounce it niche. Which niche would you like to pick? Hope has Verizon. Go get T-Mobile. You'll get your MLB package where you can watch every Major League Baseball game next year on T-Mobile. And they'll pay for the switch too, Hope. There you go.
Are they a sponsor yet?
T-Mobile, we should have them as a sponsor. Yeah. All right. How's our likes doing? I don't know where we're at. But we got to go. All right, everybody. Have a great one. Take care. We'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.